This is Rachel Kornack with Geopivot magazine. We are live at the Real Office Centers in Santa Monica, California. We're talking to Miles Sutherland from Esri, and we are at a really interesting place here.
So this is the Real Office Centers. It's called the ROC for short. And,
Okay.
It's a co-working space, but there's 90 different companies in here.
90, wow.
And we have a small little office in here in Santa Monica. And our reason for being here is it's really central, it's a great location, and there's tons of startups in here, many of them that we're working with. And there's also a lot of events that happen. There's a big event space here.
Oh, okay.
The companies run events here like hackathons or technology meetups and stuff like that.
Okay, so now we're walking through more of the collaborative office space here. You can see there's just lots of little tiny office spaces that you can rent out. And if you're just starting a business, then you don't have to have an entire building. You can just rent out a little pod. Now this is interesting. This is some of the community space where people can come together and exchange ideas. So oftentimes it's hard for people in our industry to explain what they do in a concise, easy to understand way, and I imagine that you've probably perfected this, having worked with a lot of companies that are themselves not experts in our technology. Do you have like an elevator pitch, or like a one-liner that you use all the time to explain what you do?
Yeah, definitely. So what we do every single day is we try to engage with entrepreneurs and folk who are building startup companies, and we help them understand the ways that they can leverage geography and mapping.
Well, what kind of skills have you had to kind of perfect over time to be successful, other than being good at solving technical problems?
Yeah, good question. I would say the best skill that I've had to continue to develop is just interpersonal skills and being able to work with teams and other people. You pretty much can't get anything done if you can't, collaborate with other people in your team.
And so how have you had to use like non-technical skills to make this work? It seems like it's a really kind of fast-paced, creative environment, and that's not necessarily the same as designing a database or a software program.
Having the ability to just put yourself out there and go have conversations with people about what they're trying to do, that's where it all starts.
So have you ever had any like funny moments where you like fell down the stairs right as the CEO was walking by, or otherwise embarrassed yourself in front of your clients?
Yeah, that's a hard question. I've actually done some things, like I've turned, I do a lot of sports and activities, and I have turned up to work here without my shoes, for example, and driven the car without my shoes, and had to get out and realize that I need to go buy a pair of shoes down the road.
Oh, I guess that's better than like not wearing your pants.
Yeah. Other than that, forgetting my wallet going out for a lunch meeting or something, that's...
Oh my God, right?
That's the Australian haka, right? Here's my wallet.
We actually saw each other at the same space at an Esri Dev meetup here. Can you talk about what opportunities have come from those kinds of events for you? Yeah,
that was an interesting one. I mean, we run a lot of these sort of dev meetups across the country and actually all over the world. And those have typically been very focused around the GIS market and developers and folk in that space. And they started to expand into new areas, and people are applying the technology in new areas. So for us, doing it here is really interesting because there's a lot of technology companies in this building, but also in the larger kind of Santa Monica, Los Angeles area. So for us, it's really cool to kind of mix that up. We had folk from USC, PhD students presenting. We had folk from local government, like LA County was presenting on what they're doing around bike lanes and mapping. And then we had a couple of startups and companies here that are trying to build new types of products in local government, citizen engagement sort of area, or social media, and etc. So just kind of mixing all those folk together it's really powerful, because you have a lot of folk who are experts in GIS, and you have a lot of folk who are totally new to it.
Which I think is actually, that's a nice place to be, because sometimes you get stuck, when you have everybody that has the same skill set. It's hard to solve your problems, and bringing together people with different backgrounds and strengths, you can do some really interesting things, like start new companies, create something out of nothing. Well, thank you for spending some time with us, and we'll see you at a dev meetup somewhere around the world.
Yep, in London next week.
Oh, great.